Hey there, everybody, and welcome to the Mountain East Conference podcast. I'm your host, Adam Zundel, and thanks for listening. Every show, we're talking to individuals across our 12 great institutions, and this week, we're talking to Concord's cross-country coach, Mike Cox. Coach, thanks for being with us today. Well, it was an unbelievable year for you guys this year, particularly on the men's side, obviously, a second straight conference championship, all-region performers, national championship. When you look back, not just on this year, but even a few years ago when you were recruiting these kids, is this kind of what you had envisioned? Well, when you're recruiting these guys, there's probably an element of potential. Maybe they don't all come in as studs, but what kind of growth did you see in maybe a couple of these young men that you thought, I can squeeze a lot out of these guys? Let's talk about the conference meet, and you come in as, I guess, a little bit of a different role as the defending champions. It's a smaller meet. You guys have had success at other meets. So, what was your approach coming into that Saturday race? How did you guys kind of tackle that? When your guys are meeting right before the race goes off, is it you talking a lot, or is it a lot of them talking? What is the kind of message before they go off? All right. Well, what about the moving on to regionals? What was the strategy there? You said it was your goal, obviously, to get to nationals. You got to get there through the region. How much did you look at other results, other runners, other teams? Did you try and figure out where they needed to be? Is that overthinking it? Do you just let them go and run as hard as they can? Kind of what's the style? A guy like Justin Snyder, kind of the guy that's been behind the guy in Weitzel, he comes up big for you at that regional meet. Is that kind of the performance that you're talking about, the race of their lives that you needed to get that done? How were you kind of figuring that out as the race is going on? You're doing the mental math and running from spot to spot. Where did you kind of feel like this was actually going to happen? And then I mean, kind of tell me about finding out and just your reaction and the guy's reaction in that kind of moment. You only want it until it's officially fourth. Um, all of the history that was involved in that. Obviously, Mountain East Conference, relatively young, but dating back to the West Virginia Conference, no team had accomplished what you guys did. Do you kind of let yourself think about that and enjoy that and kind of say, "Wow, this is a pretty big deal." We've seen a lot of sports in the Mountain East Conference when we talked about the inception of it just a few years ago make strides, and schools have gone where they've never gone before in all different sports. What is it like to take the first step like that for this sport in cross country? Yeah. Well, the whole Nationals experience, I mean, there's probably a little bit of a happy to be there kind of moment. But tell me about, going and making the trip and the guys, kind of embracing that experience. What were some of the highlights of that trip outside the meet? How tough as you look ahead as a coach, and I'm sure that you've been trying to kind of you get them to peak in late October and November. Now, do you kind of have to adjust your training plans going forward to say, we're going to have these expectations, we're going to have to keep a peak for 3 or 4 weeks rather than kind of trying to that narrow window where it's regionals and conference and regionals? All right, and just lastly, and we appreciate you taking some time here before the holiday break. Just some of the. Are there any particular moments, whether it was a race or a time that you had with the guys that when this whole season kind of flashes through your mind, you point to that either that one moment or that one race or that one conversation that you had with the group? Can you share? Do you have any idea what you said, or at least the essence of kind of the message that you delivered to them? All right. Well, again, thanks so much for taking the time. Congratulations from all of us on behalf of the MEC to you guys. A great job representing the conference. So excited for you guys, and once again, congratulations. All right, you got it.